Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another exceptional, exclusive episode of the Pitchside podcast.
Side.
Listen, class is in session. Get your dictionaries, Google, whatever else you use. It's going to be very important because today's guests are Coach Steve, welcome to the Pitchside podcast.
Thank you so much for already putting me under pressure on day one.
No, we just want to understand because, hey, there's things that need explanations that we don't understand.
Those who don't understand is exactly when I say I hope you understand. Then you know you didn't understand.
When it's hot and people are under the sun and it's getting much hotter and people don't understand why it's getting hotter.
No, it's because they want to sweat. The reason they're wearing jackets in the sun and it's so hot and you don't understand it, then you know that no, they just want to sweat.
I hope you understand.
Coach Steve, welcome back.
Thank you very much, Naves. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Coach Steve, let's go back. You have such a formidable, huge history with South African football, going back to Patwa Stars, going back to the first proper national team that we went to, then also moving abroad. Your history in football in this country, and I haven't even started the coaching career, which spans over 20 years. For a person that doesn't know, they would take it like, Coach Steve Simazanje, Sega Vela Gubafana, but this goes back all the way to Clackstop.
Not. I think one has to count their blessings in as much as it looks like such a long period of time in football. It's only opportunities given to you because nobody has any God-given birthright to be where they're at. So even sitting here with the greats like yourselves, I should be very thankful and must count my blessings. And the same in football. And like any other youngster, Sugar will tell you, we start playing football at a very young age like I. And I was a culmination and a product thereof, playing in the streets and then going on. But I think the biggest thing, Naves, which I think one has to send, is the education that we go through. Tina, in our days, we're not only playing football.
Yeah.
We also went to school. And I'll tell you why. When the education I got, when I finished matric, then I had to go to do to do my teaching diploma.
Yes.
Football taught me. When Mike Mukwena, the late, paid me 350 rand for the month, I paid for my education. When I got a scholarship from Safaka Sticks Murewa, I took that money for my education. And little did I know that the investment in education is where I'm sitting now. That education of which gave me an element of understanding how to work and deal with people was preparing me to come and work and deal with football players, work and deal with my employees and principals, and also teach me more about how to be I don't want to say better human being, or a human being who understands certain things are not just out there for you. They are also out there for others. And when others get given, it should not be painful to you. And when you get given, you should also be thankful. So there's quite a number of lessons. We can start from then, Kwakwa Stars abroad. And we are the minute to start pressing on, the lights never go off.
Talk to us about the importance then of education and football. So we a lot of people hear of guys who say, after matric, I decided to focus on Ipola because
correct.
But how important is it as well then to have some sort of formal education?
Naves, you should never underestimate education, formal or non-formal, or even informal. To me, formal education, I remember yesterday, I think it was yesterday, a certain gentleman came to me, he had twins, Abafana Bangani twins, and they play football. They were in a sports shop. They are trying to buy some boots. So these kids say, Daddy, please, let's go to him and ask him to give us an advice.
Yes.
And I remember also with our youth players, every youngster I come across, I give them one sentence. You must play football before. I mean, you must go to school before you play football. if you don't go to school before you play football, you're going to have a problem. I'm sitting on the solution now because I went to school before I played football. Now, this is what happens, Naves. You play football, you reach your peak, and then you stop playing. At the end of your career, like Sugar, like Hlompo, like everybody take going on. You have to go back to your community and society to give back. But if you had not gone through a certain level of education, informal or however, when you go back, what do you teach? Ushuga manje, even yourself, you are teachers, except that you may not necessarily be in a class to educate, but you are teachers, you are educators. So, the benefit I got from education in line in sports, which is what I say to people who want their kids to only play soccer or whatever, two sports, academics and sports, they serve the same purpose. Let me start preaching. Umfundisi uzongixolela.
Khululeka ungawari ngizokunikeza imic.
Yeah. The education shapes human beings and characters.
Okay.
Sports does the same.
Okay.
Education teaches you about you must come early to school. You must respect time. You must be accountable. You must be responsible. You must be humble. Sports does the same. So if people can understand that what you get in terms of core human values planted by education through theory is what you get through education by sports, but now put to you through practice. If you are going for a tackle and you are born it's a 50-50 and you want to show stats, you refrain because you're trying to respect the opponent. You're trying to be fair with the opponent. Now you are practicing fairness, you are practicing respect, you are practicing humility, you are practicing all these core human values. When in school or at school, they will teach you and tell you about it. So sports takes you through. School teaches you. They are critical both.
So coach, when you're speaking about this, the education part and sport, I get a sense of a life mentor, a life coach, a life guide, a person who is much more invested in making sure that you assist the person becoming a better person in order for you to become a better athlete.
But Sugar, where you going is where he's driving me towards. And when you know better, I can't explain this further. A human being, Naves, we all know, we are not only a physical being, we are not only a mental being, we are a spiritual being. So the Trinity in man, it completes, When I work in football and I just want to improve the physical part of a player, what about their spirituality? What about their mentality? So, when you assume a position of leadership and you're a coach, your primary responsibility is to make and win a human being. You will win matches, but can you win a human being? So when you win a human being, the investment goes beyond 30 years of being in sports. It goes to 70 and beyond. That's a gain, man. And which is why, man, jealous when you're just out there as a coach, to coach and win matches and care less about people and before you have a professional, you have a person.
Yes.
Before Ushuga was a top number 8, he needed to be a top human being. Now, the challenge we have, Naves, is that we come from different families and backgrounds. Some are broken. And a reflection of what you have in a team is what you get in society. So when you have a society that has challenges and that has got cracks and it's fragmented or is broken, you're going to have people within your team setup who are like that. So you need to deal with a player who comes for training or whatever. He doesn't have a mother, may not have a father, may not have both. So who then teaches them? Then I say, if they miss out on education at home, obviously they would miss out possibly on working on their norms, values, working on their conscience from church. Then they may not necessarily have the money to go to school. Those three institutions are huge. Big. The home, the school, the church. Then you have life, which then will teach you. But then life teaches you in a way that you are confronting reality.
Yeah.
So if these kids missed out at home, they missed out at school, sports must help them. At least you can put something. That's where then we fit in, Tina.
I think you've put it so well. I think it also then describes the difficulty of umshado. You've got two different individuals coming from different places,
Yebo.
trying to come together to
Yebo.
make it one.
Yebo.
But now in a team, it's more than two people.
And you have all the time emshadweni, and you can fake it till you make it emshadweni. But the problem is that you can't fake it forever in sports because there's an expectation in result and performance.
100%.
You come here, Mamelodi Sundowns, saying we are in a marriage, players, administration, and supporters. If the Trinity, if there's a fake somewhere that we fake performance, we are not giving results, we are going to irritate administration and supporters. If by any chance there's a fake from a supporter, there's going to be some friction lapa. So the marriage of the three, your supporters, your players, which is the team and whatever the technical, the admin, they have to be in sync. The marriage has to be proper. Amazing. The marriage was a kaya where there's a reunion of maybe whoever partners. It's much easier because then sit down and there's nothing that's judging you. That time you have the three who are not in sync and facing the PSL and competition in sports. We're in trouble. Your marriage will forever be a turbulence.
True.
Kekana, this marriage thing is not for you, my friend. Just take it easy.
I am here for you, Skipper. I can never allow them to abuse you in my
Well,
presence.
waiting for
You are
December.
protected.
I want you to know that Skipper said he can't come here because Rotlomo Temakas
But it's so amazing because he's the one who speaks fluent English.
I've seen him on TV.
No.
He's flowing with the English.
Don't be mistaken by him. He appears to be. He's actually beyond his appearance.
Amazing. Coach, you are well traveled and multilingual. How many languages do you speak
He
comfortably?
speaks Chinese. How do you say sugar in Chinese?
Yeah, sugar. I'd rather greet out ni hao. They greet ni hao and all. That's basic, man.
Yes.
We have the names. Mean everything must have a framework and meaning.
Yes.
If there is no proper intention in what you're doing, then you don't know what you're doing. Language, in my opinion, is some form of respect.
Yeah, it's the biggest, it's a barrier, it breaks the barrier. If you
Forget.
go anywhere in the world,
Forget. Uyavuma cabanga sengikhuluma isiZulu no names. then he will attach even more.
Yeah.
And ha ke tla wena o se balabala shangana and then you feel wena o ka hina lo.
Walekaya.
Wale kaya
Yeah.
ayifambeni. So to me, but when you go to that level, when you speak English, put the respect to that. Whatever, whether it's alphabet or word or sentence or chapter or paragraph, whatever it is, mawukhuluma isiZulu hlonipha. How about Tsonga? The same must go. It's closer. So to me, language is a sign of respect to others, and in a way, respect to self. People who don't care about others, umuntu okhuluma ifana kaloko, they don't respect the fact that they must respect your language, and the fact that they don't respect your language means they don't respect themselves. I'll make an example of South Africa previously. The communities, white communities previously, if they spoke mhlawumbe mixing isiZulu asithi fana kaloko, when in the minds they created ifana kaloko, not that they were trying to create that. In my opinion, it was more of disrespect to the language because how they spoke it. But when we speak English and when you respect language, it is no sign of intelligence. Because the biggest mistake we make is to think that a person who speaks language ngendlela appropriate shows a sign of intelligence. No, he only respects one, it tense. Mangihleli la, mangikhuluma nge-tense. Past tense must stick to past tense and relate to such. Present tense and all that. Just respect to the rules of grammar simply means that this guy speaks well. I don't speak well, I'm not intelligent. I only have respect to the language of whoever I'm talking to.
I've seen recently, it was a few months back, you were interacting with people, I think they're from Turkey.
Okay.
On social media, you were
Always,
conversing. In there, I was like, what is this guy saying?
and it's so easy. When Turkey plays,
Yes.
Turkey Maidlala like now in the Euro 2024, you get feedback. When Turkey wins, we won. How do you feel? They regard me as one of them. And as you put it earlier on, people shall accept you as one of their own when you also portray and reflect who they are. But if you reject who they are, I don't care how good you are, they are going to reject you as well.
Indeed. Coach Steve, mawukhuluma
Yeah.
uhlezi ushaya ngamakhodi.
Yeah.
Awuyasilimaza ngamakhodi.
Yazi and
No,
angazi
no, no,
abuya.
no. Angazi ukuthi abuya phi mara like ngabona uTeko naye sekakhuluma ngama butterfly angazi ayenza njani ngithi hey rara Teko stop ka di Facebook.
Right uTeko.
Yeah.
When you don't want to upset people, you have to say something that relates to what they reflect without insulting them. Because if
So it's an insult indirect.
it is more of a respectable insult.
All right.
Let Yabona hile you push me to this.
Who's ready?
No man, don't push it some more. Ke hopola one day we were playing, I was working at another club, and then someone made some reckless statement, and a coach or hire pack up us and all that. Now I needed to respond, man, to that, and I'm saying, if I put a disrespectful response or a response where thinking was not applied, I'll be insulting them and myself. So for fear of insulting myself, I must not insult them. So find a way to package it nicely, and then I use the symbol.
Understood. But now we don't understand. And that's my thing. Wuti, lama conversation ayasidlula. It leaves me questioning, Googling, looking for these metaphors, and I can't find them.
Knaves. What you don't understand challenges you to better understanding.
Coach,
Yeah.
to this day, Mr. Marawa is still confused.
No, I wonder when is he gonna be unconfused, because Mr. Marawa forever confuses people. The confuses my injecting a confusion.
Yeah.
It reflects back on him.
Angisho athi naye bamkhonile. uSteve uyashaya. Ngeke nginiyeke.
And there's a beautiful story I once shared, no Robert, of a snake and a baboon. A snake that wanted to cross the road, and then whatever, but as soon as they cross the road, then the snake does what snake does best, bites the baboon. Now, ngifuna uveza a different story to that. Some guy was trying to save a snake that was burning, they say. He went on, he got some twig or piece of wood to try poke the snake out of the fire. Then the wood was burning, and then the snake is burning that time. And then he decided to get a rod.
Okay.
Michael took Tolly rod, he pokes the snake, and then he saves the snake from the fire. Brings out the snake. And as soon as he gets the snake out of the fire when it was burning, the snake does what the snake does best. Bites the savior. The moral of the story in both ways. The other way, the snake was going through, and then it was biting the baboon. It did what it did, but it was malicious. This time, the guy who saves the snake gets asked the question, but why did you? You knew for sure that this thing
It's going to bite you.
Yeah, and then he says, it is also in my nature to save. Never change who and what you are just because of others across.
Yeah.
Never ever compromise the principles you uphold just because you're up against. Stay the same, irrespective circumstances.
Ngicela ukubamba ngesandla. Wisdom 101.
Yeah, I know.
And
Yeah,
don't
transfer
mi-
asolokubamba
Mara, don't
ngesandla.
mistake in wisdom and common sense. Sometimes when you use common sense, but it's wisdom. No, it's just common sense.
You see,
So your common
sense
sense.
is not so common.
I fully agree, love.
What looks common?
It is uncommon to those who don't have common sense.
Leshiwe like it's goa no.
Aowa,
Re le
man.
tshwere ka sekgowa.
Ladies
Umpolaisa
and
ka batho ba
gentlemen, boys and
Pitori.
girls, welcome to yet another episode on the Pitchside.
Coach Steve, let's talk football. There's so many
Yes.
changes that are happening in football.
Yeah.
And for the first time, I mean, locally, we're seeing the term senior coach. We're no longer using, well, there are in some instances assistant coaches and so forth. Can you please just take us into confidence and just give us a better explanation for the layman like myself, who will then get a better understanding of what senior coach is? The layman.
Amen. Ulela sikhuwa names lena le raloka ka nna lona le tlile mo le prepared nna le ntlwella fela ke le unprepared. But names, in all honesty, ne?
Yeah.
Ushuga will tell you there had been many cases where you would find coaches working together.
Yes.
Mabunda is the head coach and then I'm the assistant coach, and then he doesn't give me the respect and the responsibility. As such, my skill and my ability is not exploited. And then, but you know, when I pick up cones, put this cone there and all that, then there was a term ball boy. It is an insult because coaches are coaches. Now, when I move the argument even further with regards to, if you look at a composition, I'll go to other teams, and I know we are Mamelodi Sundowns, but also it is important to also just go back to look at
No
an
problem.
example to
Yeah.
compare. If you look at Orlando Pirates, the coach Sebenzano Rivero and them, that guy is a qualified coach.
100%.
He's got a license that I'm holding, a license Coach Mangoba is holding, a license everybody's holding, but he's working. Now, the institutions are so big. Mamelodi Sundowns is so big that if you were to bring Clemens Westerhoff and Arsene Wenger, they fit here. Because this environment is so big, man. The challenge is that the minute you want to bring a person, I don't want to start saying things that are going to reflect bad on people or classify abantu. If you have maybe a head coach,
Yes.
and then you bring someone who doesn't have the same qualification. Then you're sending some message to know we can deal with that. But the reality is that it's not gonna be. You're gonna get a rude awakening, because when the league starts, everybody has to be on top, and there's so much happening, and the number of players you deal with here, they're all top players. So you need the same staff of high quality. So the better people are qualified, the better for the environment. And now the senior coach caption as well. Anyway, it's what was created even when I first came to Mamelodi Sundowns.
Yes.
It was very creative in my opinion, and as trend setters. Then it created Leonto. First it was Shadrach, Abednego, no Meshach.
Yes.
And then there was also the Omega Ngani Sugar. Then there were other Shadrachs and Meshachs and Abednegos, Kwamanyama team. And then when Mamelodi Sundowns restructured again, that restructuring happened. So Mamelodi Sundowns has senior coach, and then they have head coach. So possibly you'll see that. But it is just pure respect to, you don't want to,
Okay.
you can't have head coach as well.
Yes.
Doesn't make sense. But now you are saying, okay, here's this coach, Kimabunda, he's working at a particular club as head coach, and then he comes to join our structure. What do you call him? Head coach?
Okay.
To me, it sits well. But again, let me steal from Coach Mangoba when he says to you, position is the lowest level that we can fight for in terms of a leadership.
Yes.
Position is positions, but the most important is service. Leaders should not be leaders because they are put at leadership position. You must even lead when you're not at the leadership position.
When you say this, Coach, you're speaking to me personally in a
Thank
sense
you.
whereby as a footballer, for example, throughout my career,
Yes.
I've had a coach who dealt with my technical aspects and bettering my game.
Okay.
And I remember one time I said to you, who were at the awards.
But you must also not, don't be afraid to tell names.
Okay.
You were supposed to have come and played for the team I was coaching, and you refused. Please, you must disclose.
Okay, let me disclose. So this is what happened. I remember saying to who coaching it, personally, this is what I felt, that, okay, when it comes to the career, I've got someone who has pushed me to the level whereby I've reached the peak of my career. But at the same time, I miss an element. When you spoke about the trinity of an individual, I miss a person who can be a mental or an emotional coach. Yet physically, everyone sees the best player on the field, but you find that you're fighting your own battles alone, and you need a coach that can be able to put your life together without tampering with your talent.
But Sugar, the biggest mistake as Swenza Naves is to be blindsided and forget good. Football is a spiritual game, man. If there's anybody, whether at playing level or coaching level, and are not spiritual enough, they won't survive in football. I'll tell you, no. This thing is not. We make a huge mistake of seeing it as sport. It is a spiritual thing. There are moments where he will tell you, he sees things even before they happen. A night before, or even in the morning when he wakes up, he knows. He will tell you, today is going to be a tough match. You will see Lezinto, but the only thing is that we don't see them because we are sleeping. If you are aware enough and conscious enough, you will pick these up. Let me ask a question, or lead you or mislead you, rather.
Either way, we will be led.
Thank you. Led or misled, but there's lead in it. Let's say Iluka Sitwell.
Yes.
Pegged to the rafters. Sugar gets the ball, or it's a penalty. It goes quiet. What happens when the ball hits the net? Or what happens when he misses the penalty? Either everybody puts a hand on the head simultaneously, without any announcement. How do you feel after a defeat? You feel drained, tired, and all that. That's energy, man. Now, because we are more physical beings, because everything must be seen, we fail to recognize that we are spiritual beings, and spiritual things and emotions are things that are felt. Because of our lack of awareness, we are not in touch with what we feel. Because at moments of how you feel, either by joy, you get excited and you lose your level of awareness and consciousness, or because of pain, you still lose the level of consciousness and awareness. That is why when you are at extreme pain, you would faint and you would never remember what happened. And when you're too excited, but do you know what you did yesterday? Now, when you get in touch with your emotions and you are balanced, you would know exactly how you went there, what happened. Whether it was in a good way or bad way. So people must always be aware, be conscious. You must always see and hear and touch and feel everything. Be conscious and intentional about it. And then you know how to move on with your life. But others get success and they cannot replicate it.
You know, Naves, when Coach Steve says, I must disclose.
Yes.
I remember I said to him one time, I said, I saw you coaching me.
Yeah.
Eh?
Nazok.
I saw you coaching me.
Nazok.
You and I were wearing the same kit. I was at Mamelodi Sundowns. He was at Maritzburg, I think, by the time. So I said to him, I said, I saw you wearing the same kit as
Thank
me.
you.
He said it's impossible because it means that you would have to leave Sundowns and come to
Free Stars.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I said, no, it wasn't like that. But we were together. I said, one day you will coach me.
And it had to happen. I remember we were looking for a central midfield.
Yes.
And then Nosbu Kumalo.
Yes.
The target was to have Ushuga. They recommended Usbu. And then he continued at this club. We were meant to work together. And there are certain things, Naves, whatever you do, if it is meant to be, you can bring all the power and the force you have, it will be.
Coach Steve, July is men's month.
And my birth month as well.
Mine too.
I was born 1st July 1967.
I was born in the year
belated
2000, so I
birthday.
can't...
2000?
2000.
Hey, lama 2000 asiphethe
Wena
asiphethe ama 2000 kibaba uvala mkhukhu ba awuyethe la.
It's something umoza nabangani bakho vala mkhukhu.
But you guys are blessed, man. Names.
Are we?
You but listen. There's a curse, there's a blessing. Now the blessing of being so enlightened and all that has some sort of a curse that sometimes it blinds people who are enlightened to think that we know it all. when sometimes they need to go back to conventional wisdom and ask daddy and mommy, wait, mommy, how do we do this one? But you guys are blessed.
It's the gift and the curse.
Ah, nasi isilungu.
It being Men's Month, let's talk about mental health. I think in the era where we are, it becomes a very important conversation to have amongst us as gents, as males, and just the new generation. Because I'm not a 2000, I'm 84, but I come from the generation where you've got to work through it, no matter what it is. You have to struggle through it and get to the other side. Whereas the modern generation now, when mental health issues do arise, everything stops, and
we are to blame.
Yes,
we are to blame. If Naves, Ushuga, and Steve do not show their vulnerability, you are depressing the rest of the other people who are watching you go on with your life. And the fact that they have this expectation of a perfect picture in life that you consistently portray, you are depressing them. There are moments where it's after training. After training, you come here, you have a shoot. Ushugaula, Unevzula, you were sweating and all that, you just finished the match. Appear here, natural. Someone must be critical with makeup, because makeup and camouflage are all fake. It is not the reality we face in life. And then you and I, we are consistently out there in public and portraying perfection. And we are actually depressing people who are imperfect. We are not perfect either.
With that said, Coach Steve,
yes,
social media doesn't allow you the chance to be who you are. So even if you are sad, you have to show ukuthi uhappy. Even if you're going through the most, because otherwise people start to feel like, hey, ngipostile, nobody liked my post because ngifakeni ukuthi ngisemhlungwini inhliziyo yami, or if I'm a baller angidlali.
But
inkulumo azipheli.
Who must change that culture, Grootman? You and I must change that culture. Sugar and I must change that culture. I'm not saying post a picture lapha. Don't doctor the picture too much.
Too much.
The pictures get so doctored so much that they are just beyond belief. Just put a picture, man.
You sound like you've been catfished.
A lot. Something very strange happened. Somebody took my pictures and my details, phone number and email, and then created an account. Now I'm getting messages. I'm saying, but what's happening? A person has created a fake account. The other one on Facebook. Someone is asking for some money for development and all that. And what I do, in as much as it irritates, you send people to say, no, don't be duped. These people are scamming you and all that. But social media can be used positively. But the challenge is that you and I, can we reflect ourselves the way we are so that we can positively influence about people? Listen, if I don't have 200 rand to put petrol in my car, I have to say it, man. So that I also release Ushuga to say, hey, it happens, this guy does not have 200. But if I don't have 200 rand to put petrol and I come across as if I'm boss boy or whatever, I'm also depriving him the opportunity to speak out. And when you don't speak out, you speak to yourself. And some of the most difficult conversations are the conversations you have with yourself. And those conversations are the ones which, on the other side, this person says to you, please speak the truth. This side, this one says, no, when you speak the truth, you show weakness. And at that conflict, if there's a guy names you always speak to 24 hours even in your sleep, and you shall speak to even at your grave or at death, is yourself. When you're walking, you're thinking, that's talking to yourself. When you're sleeping, you dream, that's talking to yourself. When you dead and you become a spook, you are a ghost, you're still talking to yourself. So we better prepare those conversations whilst we're still alive. The conversation of your thoughts is developed through how you perceive the environment. Try wear a perception that's positive. Sitting here, instead of saying, it's too hot, man, this sun is heating, just tell yourself that, goodness me, I'm acquiring some energy from the sun. I am here, time is flying.
D.
Yeah, I gotta be somewhere. Don't say I'm wasting.
Vitamin D.
Vitamin D. So how you then rationalize with your brain will then come to the discussion you have with yourself. And if you receive positively, the discussion will be positive. And even in your sleep, in your subconscious, what you deposit is what you will withdraw. I can never deposit rands here, negative thoughts or positive thoughts, and then wish to withdraw dollars. So what is deep in my thinking consistently is actually what is put in my subconscious. And any spontaneous thinking or reaction is going to be a withdrawal of the deposits I had consistently been making. So when you are dead, you will be haunted by the spirits and the heads you chopped on your way to becoming what was just a useless being in a world that would ultimately come to an end.
I hope you understand.
I hope you understand.
I hope you understand.
Coach Steve, we can go on forever, but I think we need to do a part 2 at the halfway mark through the season, and then part 3 at the end so that we can start again. It's the second coming. I want to find out from you is what do you, or if I'm a fan of Mamelodi Sundowns, what do I expect from you in the second coming?
The same energy and vibe from our people. The success at Mamelodi Sundowns, in my opinion, is institutional. These are the people who got us the Champions League star. We are blessed to have them. And the support we also get from you. And it is not just because of us, but the energy they got from the support. It be administration, it be whatever, even from the supporters. The only thing that we can request is the support. And that we can promise is the work endlessly. And I must also hasten to say I'm privileged to be back at Mamelodi Sundowns. Man, even when I was out there, my eyes were always here because the work that is done at Sundowns is so appealing. Whether you are outside or inside, you are bound to look at. And we're just looking forward to the season with the changes. It is obviously going to be a moment of new developments. Then it goes back to what I once said, and somebody was laughing at me when I said, in any team development, Sugar, there's 5 stages Bruce Tuckman once spoke about. He said, when you form a new team or develop a new brand, it is the forming phase, then you have the storming phase, then the norming phase, then performing phase, and then excellence. So now at the beginning, there's going to be a bit of a storm, which is normal. Because I'm now taking a seat that is taken by you. You're feeling uncomfortable. It's like at your home. You are introducing a new pet. Now this set of dogs are saying, but wait a minute, what's happening here? The discomfort is normal. So that is the storming phase. The quicker you hit the norming phase, the quicker you will hit the performing phase. The quicker you get to the performing phase, you will excel. These are stages we have to accept and know they exist. We have to go through them. So we have to normalize things quickly enough so that we can perform.
I think this is the scariest thing of being a Mamelodi Sundowns fan.
Yeah.
We are, for lack of a better word, a spoiled bunch that is so used to winning. Our biggest fear is losing.
Okay, I know that. I've been here before. We lost one match and you could feel Ugutiazi. No, we would play and not get the score that is expected. You would feel it. But that's beautiful pressure, man. Instead of calling it pressure, call it the pleasure of the demand to always be on top. And it is not only Mamelodi Sundowns supporters' names, I must confess. The principals, the board of this club, is unbelievably uncompromising when it comes to delivery. We have to deliver. But again, that's the beauty, that standards have to be so high. The bar has to be so high that whoever has to reach it must really stretch and understand that it is not easy to reach and touch that bar.
Coach Steve, thank you very much.
Dan,
Ralebo.
So quick.
No, we will have part 2.
Half time.
Hey, we are
Half-time.
full names, man.
This is the forming stage.
Yes.
Yeah.
We just past the storming stage.
No. In
Now
fact,
we are
no.
going to the
When we
norm-
get to norm,
Yeah.
we will have another
No,
sit down.
we are not closing this. I'm not closing it before. I'm refusing.
Yes.
Anything that's got a DI or any word that is preceded by DI has got a different meaning. If you say vision and you put DI in front of vision, it's division. Now, if he says it's a forming stage, I'm going to put DI and S is a disforming stage. You are disforming me. So there's never going to be a forming. There'll never be a norming. It will always be this. So ngicela ukuthi next time I shouldn't be here, gentlemen. I think this was enough. It's okay. And I'll ask your crew to let me go and somebody else should come la names. Ngiyacela madoda.
Amasupporter
Hey, waphu-
angeke wavuma.
Awavumi.
Enesiwathanda kanjani kabuyelo masandawana.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave us your comments below. We are Masandawana.